Welcome back to the channel, my fellow Meridians, and today what we are going to talk about is the love of travel that so many of us have. And I'm going to start by quoting somebody that is from my home state. His name is Mark Twain. And as those of you who follow this channel by liking and subscribing and all that kind of thing, you know that I quote one thing that he had to say many, many years ago that is very near and dear to my heart, and it is this: travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all of one's lifetime. It's a quote that I continue to think about every single day, and especially when I travel, that when you go somewhere, you meet people and you appreciate where you are for what it is. So today we're going to talk about that love, and maybe we'll throw a few more quotes out there. Let's roll the intro. Now, for those of you who are back, thank you so much for watching yet another video. And for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Alexander Howell, and I basically started this channel to talk about travel, real estate, and especially international real estate. My wife and I purchased a home in Merida, Mexico, in the state of Yucatan a couple of years ago, renovated it, and absolutely love it. And as you can probably tell, I am not there now, which is very disappointing. But fortunately, we're going to be there this summer, so I look forward to meeting some of you when I am down there. And if you'd like to follow all of that, please feel free to like and subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell. That'll let you know anytime that I go live, whether it's live streaming or one of these videos goes live. You can also feel free to hit all of my socials. At Alexander from KC, as in Kansas City, is how you can find me. So at Alexander from KC, or text me at 816-727-7740. Or if you really want to send a long message, and I'm happy to answer it, alexander@alexanderhowell.com. That's how you can do that. But getting back to the video, the entire idea behind this is discussing what it is like to travel. And I know that a lot of you on this channel follow because you travel a lot and you enjoy it, and some of you, as I recognized in one of the posts that I put out, watch these videos because you don't travel that much. And either way, it's completely fine. But the one thing that I can guarantee you if you're watching this channel is you are at least thinking about it on a consistent basis. And I am very fortunate in my life. I've been able to go to Portugal, Costa Rica, Italy, and of course, all over Mexico and the United States, and have absolutely loved the time doing it. But the number one lesson that I draw from each of those experiences is that when you travel, you recognize that no matter the headlines, whether they be political or whatever, you recognize that you don't understand the country until you actually step foot on the ground. You will have predetermined ideas about what you're about to go into, and then the moment that you get there, you recognize the people that are there are just like you. And that's something that's very difficult for some people to see when they do this for the first time. In fact, one of my very best friends a couple of years ago came to me and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about going to Mexico." He was going to Cancun. I think most of you know how easy that can be. And he said, "I just don't know what to do because it seems like all the things I read in the headlines, it's dangerous." And what I said to him is the same thing that I say to every single person I've ever talked to about it. It is not what's being reported. Do those events happen? Yes. But you are also going to a place that is wonderful. The people are great. Try it, and you won't regret it. And lo and behold, the moment he got back, said thank you, and he wanted to go back immediately after that, and he did 6 months later. And that's the experience that you have pretty much everywhere in the world. When we went to Portugal, the only negative that we had was I was dealing with a health issue, which I've talked about on this channel, but also my only complaint was that the customs process was ludicrously long and ridiculous. But the actual country was incredible. They were completely amazing. It was a beautiful place, beautiful scenery, all of those things. All the superlatives they get. Italy was the same way. One of my favorite moments in Italy wasn't seeing the Colosseum, even though that was the thing that I wanted to do the most. It wasn't going through a guided tour in Florence. It wasn't eating all of the food. Although I have to tell you, if you're going anywhere in the world, and I'm biased, Italy's probably number one. 1A is Mexico, but Italy's pretty awesome. But one of my favorite memories was we stopped by this little bitty place. Like, it was just a small, almost house right on the side of the road that had some of the most excellent food I've ever had in my entire life. But we went in there, had a great meal, and as we're leaving, as they were closing, they were bringing in their family, and they were about to serve a meal to what seemed like about 20-25 people that were just a part of their family that you could tell were there constantly. And it was not a cultural difference. It was a beautiful moment for us to see exactly how they worked. They had a restaurant, they had family, everybody came together, and they made the same food for their family that they made for us. And it was just a cool experience. And it's those small moments, those little things that seem like at the time nothing, that actually make you realize how much of a difference they mean in your life. Because when you start reading headlines and things like that, you're like, I didn't see that. I didn't know that that was occurring. And it might be something bad. It might be something great. But you understand because you were actually there. And I, of course, am not saying that everything's perfect either. But being there gives your mind the ability to actually push through and see things for more than what they are. And that's why I think there's a beauty in traveling that really nothing else can give you. I'm going to read one more quote just real quick by Mark Twain, though, because I think that most of you will probably understand this as well. The other quote is, "I have found that there ain't no surer way to find out whether you like people or hate them than to travel with them." And that is just as true as the first statement, because you want to travel with people that are open to new experiences as well. When we went to Costa Rica for the first time, that was my first time out of the country, was going to Costa Rica. We flew into San Jose, then took a puddle jumper over to Quepos, and then drove to Manuel Antonio. For those of you that have been there, you probably recognize that that's a very interesting little journey, but it was absolutely beautiful. And when we went into Quepos every single time to get our groceries, there were two things that I'll remember forever. One, every time we went in, we basically emptied them out of beer because we were American tourists and that's what we do. Save the judgment for the comment section, I get it. But also that people were incredibly kind. There was a language difference. It was the first time we were traveling out of the country, but people were willing to work with us. It was very easy to just point at something, say, look this up. And it wasn't as easy at that point as going to the Google Translate app, but they worked with us. They knew there were people that came over and helped. And I'll never forget that experience, because sometimes you feel helpless. You're like, I planned this vacation. It seems really awesome. Now I feel kind of lost, but the people that were there helped. And I have yet to have a different experience than that in the places where I've been. Now, I will bring in the caveat that I have not been to war-torn locations. I have not been to certain areas that have had conflicts. But what I will say is that when we have gone on these trips, what I have recognized is that I don't care what's in the headlines. I care about the people that are there because of the way that those people treated me. And it's helped when I'm in Kansas City and I see somebody that is from a different place as well. Now, I will fully admit that Kansas City isn't the international destination that somewhere like Los Angeles or New York City might be, but it has absolutely helped me out in the idea that if I see somebody that is struggling to figure something out, I try to step in to help. And I think that's something that when you travel is incredibly important, but is also something that you almost inherently get to figure out. That you appreciate the people that help you, and you understand how that made you feel, and now you might get the possibility of being one of those individuals. So today's video is short, but it was very important for me to talk about this because I've been wanting to say this for a while. And again, for those of you who have liked and subscribed to this channel and all of those things, you've heard me quote that Mark Twain thing all the time. But it really is incredibly important to me, and I think that it's something that the more you do it, the more you recognize how factual it is. So this video is more of a philosophical perspective and all that kind of stuff. If you actually want to see international real estate, like let's say, I don't know, my house that we renovated in Mexico, please feel free to subscribe to this channel, and also just look through all the different videos that I've got. I talk about Merida, Mexico, Yucatan, Progreso, traveling throughout Mexico all the time. But travel to me is the most important part of this video, whether it's Portugal, Costa Rica, or of course, Mexico. That's the goal. And hit me up on all those socials. I'm going to put them all down below so you can feel free to reach out anytime. And also, if you do want to look at going to Merida, Mexico, feel free to go down and go to the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/travel2 Merida. I probably just did that reverse, whatever it is, you'll figure it out. Travel 2 Merida, and that's my Facebook group. We've got a little over 250 members right now, which is awesome because we've seen significant growth, but it's filled with a lot of people who are more than willing to help you get directed to the right person, thing, or restaurant that will make your trip absolutely amazing. And again, my name is Alexander Howell. Thank you so much for watching this video. And again, I know it's a little bit loose, but you gotta have one of those every once in a while. But as always, peace.